In today's video, I'm gonna get a little vulnerable. I'm gonna share some fails and a raw homeschool tour that isn't perfectly curated. I hope that this will be encouraging to you guys that even if you're starting off your new school year and things aren't completely perfect, it can still be a successful school year. I'll also share some tips with you. Typically, when I start a video off, I am sitting here in front of my well-curated bookshelf and all of our papers are tucked in where they're supposed to be. But today we're gonna flip the camera and let you see what's on the other side. Welcome to the other side of our schoolroom. So right across from where I am typically sitting, you will find that our calendar has not been switched over. We're only a month behind. It is mid-August. I have a pile of books to donate and give away. I have Easter eggs still out. There's an Xbox that is my husband's. I don't know what we're going to do with it or what it's doing there, but there it sits. I have a box of books. Now, this is exciting as things have been coming in or as I look over my shelves and decide what we might want to use in the upcoming year. I have just been putting them in here, but mid-August, I have not gotten around to figuring out what we are actually doing for our next school year. Well, kind of. We'll get into that in a little bit. This is what my desk typically looks like. It is piled high with items. A new book that doesn't have a home yet. Giveaway items for the Minnesota Homeschool Mom Retreat. And then, just random papers and things. Over here, I love this section actually. I have perfectly organized cubbies on different science topics, different language and math. But then I noticed that up here, I have a random set of All About Spelling cards, and I don't know why they're here. Why are they not put away with the rest of our All About Spelling stuff? I don't think these actually even go with our things. I think these are extra from something. I should look into that. Then I have things that don't fit anywhere. Oh, let me show you these. This is our timeline that I've never finished. These are like felt boards that you can put tacks into. And the goal is to go around the room with them and then be able to use it as a timeline. It's like 2 years later and I've never finished that project. I have, oh man, I don't even know. These things came in the mail. I haven't even had time to look over them yet. And then I actually do have leftover handwriting books that I haven't done anything yet with. Also, usually the floor is covered in Legos or number blocks, linking cubes, plus toys, but the boys did clean those up. Here is what cubbies, when you do like a cubby for your child, schoolwork, here's what they actually look like. Well, sometimes it's actually spilled out onto the floor. And right now they're in their spots. But this is my oldest son's cubby, my youngest son's cubby, and the twins. And everything just kind of gets thrown in there. This over here is like folders of all their artwork. It terrifies me. I don't ever touch that. I've got crafts here. Oh, look, there's the pluses and things and a fort and all kinds of stuff going on in the living room. And then we've got our game shelf, the bookshelf that you always see. I really appreciate this actually. We've got paints in one drawer, tape in a drawer, random pencils, number blocks, paper that the kids can use, scrap paper. So this has been really good for us. All of the extra stuff is always just thrown on top. The bookshelf, the piano station. Having these different stations at least helps everybody know kind of the general area that things belong in. And so I do recommend something like that. I love having books strewn about and they are always in the living room as well. And I find my kids just picking these up all the time. If they can see the cover of the book, then they are more likely to open it and just start reading. So super recommend that. But here is the life of our homeschool, of a relaxed homeschooler. This is our daily habits chart. And I have it again across the room as well. Over here, you can see our daily habit charts. These are things that we do when we're home, when we are not out gallivanting around, visiting people, when we don't have company over. My kids know that these are things that they are going to do. They are going to have alone time with God, family devotions, current family events, helping hands. We don't do chores and pay our kids because I believe that everybody in the house should be helping. So helping hands is like when they put the dishes away, when they sweep the floor, those things. We take a set amount of time every day to do those things, and it really helps out. They're going to work on problem solving, which is math. They're going to do some kind of outdoor thing, handwriting, learn something new is usually our family time. This checklist makes them a little bit more independent. It helps them know just regularly, over and over, what they're going to do, what is expected of them when they're home. It helps me to not be like, oh yeah, what should we do next? Or we didn't do that thing that we were supposed to do at 9 o'clock. Like, no, these are just our goals for the day, our habits that we want to develop. And we have, over the years, we have been able to successfully develop these habits, and the kids can largely do things from memory, knowing, oh right, I haven't done that yet, I need to do that. Oh yeah, I need to do that. And they don't have to ask me what they should do next. A lot of those things we do together, but not all of them. Now, what could be considered as a homeschool fail for this summer is that earlier in the year, I showed you the curriculum we were going to do this summer. We were going to do Grammar Galaxy and Sassafras Twins. We were going to do math and all these other things. But things happened. We had people over. We went places. My kids were at camp for 4 weeks. Somebody different was at camp, and we couldn't do our family subject. So we did not get as much done as I thought we would. We didn't complete anything. And so now, looking into the upcoming school year, honestly, a lot of that we're just gonna roll over. We're gonna keep doing. So as I'm picking out new curriculum for the new school year, well, there's not much to pick out. There is a lot of it we're just going to keep doing. And if you didn't finish things in the last school year, you can just keep doing them. I remember in college, we had a professor who had this whole synopsis of what we were going to cover. We didn't finish the curriculum. We didn't get to some of the main things I needed for my study. And that just happens. I think it's like if a curriculum is over 70% completed, they consider that successful. 70%. So why are you beating yourself up over not completing a curriculum? You can just carry that on, or you can just drop it and start something new if that's what you need to do. You do what works for your family. I love having like a habit sheet where you can just check things off, because you don't have to have a time schedule of when you do everything. And that checking part off, reverse planning, reverse scheduling, those things are just so much more helpful and realistic to what life is actually like. There are interruptions in our day. There are things that don't get completed, and that's okay. Of course, we'll make tweaks for the upcoming year. I want to focus on each child and make sure that I have planned out for them like what my educational goals are for that child, specific things that I know they need to work on for what they're interested in or what they need to be progressing in more, because progress is what we are looking for in our kids. We aren't necessarily looking to just like check off a grade or a credit. We want to know that they are progressing in the areas that they need to. And so I like that about year-round habit schooling as well, that we are just constantly improving. We take education as a lifetime expectation, that we're always learning and growing, myself included. So I just really hope that you're able to realize that if you aren't ready with all the new curriculum and schedules and lined up, and your homeschool space isn't perfect, that doesn't mean you're not going to have a successful homeschool year. It just means that you're actually a real person with a real life, and that's okay. You don't have to go out and buy all new pencils and crayons and markers when you already have plenty at home, even if they're not perfect. Now, there is some excitement in the honeymoon phase of homeschooling where you want to do those things. And if you have time to do that, if you have time to make the cinnamon rolls and set out all the morning menus around the table and like kick off the new school year and take the school pictures for that year, first day of school pictures. Like, if that means a lot to you, then by all means do it. Having those excited times are really good and beneficial. But if you're not there, if you are just moving on with what is working for you, like my homeschool space is not perfect, but it works for us. And that's okay with me. I could do better in things for sure, like my desk, but it works right now. And so I'm not gonna beat myself up over that, and I don't want you to either. If you're interested in homeschool methods, this video would really help you. And then here's a video on family style learning and how that works for us as well. I'll have links down below to help too, and make sure to ask any questions in the comments that you might have. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you again soon.